I'm a bad motherfucker.
Okay, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Camera 4 beside me. Yeah, all right. Okay, Hempcar was saying that the guys saying mumbo jumbo, they have money for their wars, but when it's for us, they scream inflation. We need to occupy DC and nationalize big oil, tech, and pharma. Ours, not one rich family. Hempcar, thank you, Hempcar.
Stop joining the military too.
Is modern monetary theory just a big Ponzi scheme? Asking for a friend, Reverend.
It sounds like it.
Boy, didn't it? Last week's Chinese dumped 300 billion in U.S. Treasury bonds. Take that word to the bank. Lurka. Been hashtag not paying for this since TY 2023. First because of the genocide, then because I realized Gaza and Ukraine cost way too much to rely on tax dollars already dead. Free Assange, Garland Nixon. Thank you, Garland. Fuck the Demolicans and the Republicrats. Chain toker. Okay, so federal taxes are used for inequality, climate change, and to fight fascism. Also to take away our purchasing power and control how we spend it. Got it. Get rid of the Fed income tax now. May Leash, thank you. This segment should be called Jimmy Learns Economics is a Religion. JM. The reason they tax is to destroy money. It reduces the net amount of cash in circulation and it prevents people from sitting idle on assets. User for me. If you want to discuss MMT, you should have on Steve Grumbine from Macro and Cheese. User and for me. Thank you for that recommendation. Bunny Ripley, I can hook you up with Sono Shamdasni, who translated, edited, wrote the notes and intro for and published Jung's Red Book. Took him years, recognized world authority on Jung and a family friend. Bunny Ripley, I said, could you please send it to info@jimmydorecomedy.com. And in the subject line, read, Steph requested this info. So once again, go to info@jimmydorecomedy.com and send me that info so we can hook that up, please. Greasy Edward, thank you so much. Onion Rings, thank you very much. Stiff Richie, grazie. Maylisha, thank you so much for your generosity. Truth Seeking Peace, you recommended Gary Stevenson. I added his name to our recommended list of guests. You, Sonic Warhol, thank you very much. Shadow Stats type shit, yuck _ thank you. Purple Glue, thank you very much. Kate Kotwas, grazie. Thomas Autonomous, thank you very much, amigo. Kate Kotwas, thanks again. Kate Kotwas, you recommend Zach Stein, and I did link that to our crew so they could recommend us, review. Okay, so let me open this up. Okay, let's see here. All right, so that's one. Marianne Williamson began her professional career as a spiritual leader of the Church of Today. She was launched into prominence by Oprah Winfrey. Being a frequent guest on her daytime talk show and becoming known as her spiritual advisor, Williamson was raised in an upper middle class family that practiced conservative Judaism. Williamson moved to New Mexico, where she lived in a geodesic dome with her boyfriend. Couple broke up years later after leaving Texas. She went to New York intending to pursue a career as a cabaret singer. However, that's from Cornpop. B-Man said, everybody but Jill Stein is a bag for the Zionists. Thank you for that. All right, let's continue. She has stated that she was distracted by bad boys and good dope. Vanity Fair wrote that Williamson spent her 20s in growing state of existential despair. In New York, Williamson suffered from deep depression following the end of the relationship in 1979. Williamson returned to Houston, where she ran a metaphysical bookstore, coffee shop, sang Gershwin standards in a nightclub, got married, and divorced almost immediately, and underwent a spiritual surrender. In 1983, Williamson had what she called a flash to close the coffee shop and move to Los Angeles. That's from Cornpop. Thank you, Cornpop. Does this continue? She got an apartment in Hollywood where her roommate was 17-year-old Laura Dern. Has stated that Williamson held prayer groups in our living room. Williamson became the spiritual leader for the Church of the Day, a Unity Church in Warren, Michigan, where she had 2,300 congregants and 50,000 television viewers. Thank you, Cornpop. We'll be back.
So this was tweeted out by this news thing called the Lever News. Now, the Lever News does investigative reporting, and they're really good at that. But when they get into punditry is when they suck harder than a porn star.
But their journalists are not the ones doing because he's like a freelance pundit, isn't
No,
he?
he started the Lever.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So here's David Sirota, who famously came on the show and lied about McCarthy becoming speaker, and then lied that he didn't say that, and then said I cut something out of a video, which I'm going to show you all that in a second. But here's his latest line of bullshit.
A clip from his great movie, Don't Look Up.
So my whole thing is that he wouldn't stand with us when it came to force to vote. He said he did, but then he didn't, and then he said it was McCarthy, but then he said he didn't say that. Any way to discredit me, he would do it, and he would never tell you to vote. He'll always tell you to vote Democrat is the point of this, right? And now he's found a new way to get you to vote Democrat. Wait till you hear this line of shit.
First and foremost thought on Donald Trump. If he becomes president, it's not only bad for stuff like climate policy.
Shut up.
I know.
Shut up.
Right. What we need now is guys like Joe Biden, who's blowing up the Nord Stream pipeline, the biggest economical act of terrorism in history. The biggest methane release doing wars all over the place, 800 military bases. The number one emitter of carbon is the United States military. Joe Biden doing more for, again, fracking. He's Mr. Fracking. So get the F out of here.
By the way, none of this stuff happened you said was going to happen.
That's right. Here we go.
First and foremost thought on Donald Trump. If he becomes president, it's not only bad for stuff like climate policy. It's not only bad for stuff like corporate regulation.
Oh, yeah. You know how good Joe Biden has been on corporate regulations. Remember when he crushed the railroad strike, which would have sent the template for workers nationwide? Remember when he did that?
Will they regulate Biden? Does he mean they won't be able to regulate Trump?
Here we go. So, again, two just complete made-up bullshit. Here we go.
Economy, et cetera, et cetera. Donald Trump winning, in my view, would significantly strengthen the corporate-aligned politicians, media outlets, and consultants that currently control the Democratic Party.
That's
the same class of people who obstruct progress on everything. It would so significantly strengthen the Democratic Party leadership, Donald Trump winning, that it's not actually insane to believe that Democratic Party leadership in some ways wants Donald Trump to win, or at least would be absolutely fine with Donald Trump winning.
It's not insane to believe that, but it is insane to listen to you to take any voting decisions from your advice. That's what would be insane. It'd be insane to think that you're actually being honest right now, and you're not actually gaslighting people, because that's what he's doing. Hang on,
the leadership.
What's that?
Because AOC's still cool, I bet. Right,
right. But AOC's still cool, right? Here we go. It'd be insane to think that you're not throwing a big wad of bullshit at people right now. That's what would be insane, because he is. He's got more to say.
So you're probably wondering, well, wait a minute. How does Donald Trump winning strengthen the corporate masters of the Democratic Party?
Yeah.
Because it would reimpose the rhetorical parameters that those Democratic Party bosses want. They want a discourse that is purely anti-Trump all the time, a discourse that exclusively focuses on Trump's outbursts and insanity and crimes. A discourse.
I'm pretty sure that's what's happened the last 4 years with Joe Biden in power. That's all the media is focused on anyway. All his trials, all his January, it went from him on January 6th, and then it went to all his trials, and that it's never stopped.
This is so insane. I'm forgetting that he's telling you to vote for a guy whose brain is Swiss cheese.
Yes. So this is amazing. Watch.
It marginalizes all other topics as some sort of distraction from the central cause of opposing Donald Trump. They want a discourse that casts all pressure on the Democratic Party, not just as a distraction, but as traitorous allyship with Donald Trump. That's what the Democratic Party leadership wants. A Trump victory in November gives the current Democratic Party leadership exactly those rhetorical conditions which allow them to further suppress all pressure on the Democratic Party itself. So if you want to help the corporate center of the Democratic Party, the corrupt corporate aligned leaders of the current Democratic Party, if you want to help them, it seems to me your choice in this election is very clear. Vote for Donald Trump.
So
Hey, rhetorically, put my balls in your mouth.
you couldn't make this up. So what he's saying is, if you want to hurt the corporate center of the Democratic Party, vote for Joe Biden.
I'll vote for Kamala. if
That's
it'll
what
do
he's
that.
saying. Vote for Joe Biden. He's literally saying, you want to hurt the Democrats? Vote for them. You
Yeah. Well,
you want to hurt the corporate alliance? You want to hurt guys like Joe Biden, who's the biggest corporate tool, biggest tool of the military-industrial complex, big pharma, the insurance companies, and Wall Street ever in the history of the Democratic Party. You should vote for him, and that will hurt him.
because all they talk about is Trump. Well, not just Trump. There's also Russia, women, and racism.
That's that
So they're just going to harp on those more.
So-
I mean, there's no part of that makes sense.
So all I can say is I want to remind people when he came on during Forced to Vote, and he lied and said that, do you want Kevin McCarthy to become Speaker? And then when I point out to him that that's not really the question, he was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm with you then."
By the way, Kevin McCarthy did become the Speaker, and the Republicans kicked him out.
And the Republicans kicked him
Dipshit.
out. Okay, here we go.
About the tactic, just answer that question. Is it a good or bad thing for Kevin McCarthy to be Speaker of the House? Don't deflect. Just answer that goddamn question.
I think would it be better or worse? Who
Answer
knows?
the question.
Who-
Would it be
you
a
tell-
bad thing for Kevin McCarthy to be Speaker of the House? Answer it.
If Nancy Pelosi is unwilling to put Medicare for
Answer
all
the
on the floor, what's
question.
the difference?
Answer the question.
What's the
See, you
difference if
won't
Nancy
answer the
Pelosi
question.
is
I'm willing to answer the question and be honest and say
the
neither
question
of these outcomes
is
are good
again the question
outcomes.
is a shit
I'm
sandwich
being
better than a
honest.
shit sandwich? Is that what you're saying? Is a shit sandwich better than a shit sandwich?
worse than not
This
having
is not the
healthcare?
argument. This is not the argument, David. You are
So what
framing
I'm
the
saying-
as a human being. You're framing the argument incorrectly. As a human being, you're framing the argument as a human being who needs Medicare for all. People who have just
agreeing
lost
with
their
you.
health care.
I'm not gonna
As a human
yell that by
being,
you.
as a
I'm
human being,
agreeing
you're
with
framing
you
this
that the
incorrectly.
tactic of
As a
keeping
human
them
being,
is
you're framing it
important.
incorrectly.
I'm
Just so you
agreeing
know,
with you
just so you
that
know,
the
the story
tactics of
is
pushing
that
is
you're not
important.
willing to risk. And I'm asking you, are you willing to risk Nancy Pelosi's speakership to get this done? Are you?
100%, because another
Oh, so he just completely flipped what he was saying. Answer the goddamn question.
Okay, but
And then
was it-
I go, are you willing to risk Nancy Pelosi's speakership? Yeah, I am. Okay. So that's who this guy is. He says one thing and then he speaks out of both sides of his mouth. And so now he's trying to find a way to tell people to vote for Joe Biden because he needs to stay in with his shit lib friends in Hollywood. And he wants to still sound like a radical because he's like, this will hurt them. I want to hurt the Democrats.
So
and
he
how
helps get us health care by not going along with Force the Vote? Is that how it works?
So all I got to say is this.
He's done it again. He's done it again. That is a fact. You fucking little bastard. He does it He's done it again. You dirty bastard. You've done it again. Where is the card?
Answer the question, Jimmy. If Kevin McCarthy is the Speaker, literally, it does not make a difference, you dipshit.
Well, first of all, that was never a thing, that Kevin McCarthy would never become Speaker. So that's what the lie was. But anyway, so after he tells you now, if you want to help and prop up the corporate-aligned politicians inside the Democratic Party, vote for Trump. What she's saying is the way to hurt the Democratic Party is to vote for Joe Biden, because he's certainly not telling you to vote third party. He'll never do that. That's not what he's saying, and that's what makes you go like this, huh? I have to vote for Joe Biden to hurt the corporate-aligned politicians inside the Democratic Party? That's what I have to do? And underneath his post from the Lever News, people were putting that. People were putting this. Hey, look, it's David Sirota. There it is, David Sirota tying himself in a pretzel. Whoa. So you can also fight insider trading by Congress by voting for Nancy Pelosi. Hey, the inevitable result of being married to an elected Democrat, which he is. He's married to an elected Democrat. Hey, libs, a vote for third-party independent president of the United States candidate is a vote for Trump. Also, libs, a vote for Trump is a vote for corrupt Democrats. They're finally admitting the only way to win this election is to muddy the waters and sow confusion. There's another one. Literally the dumbest shit lib take ever. You want to punish the Democrats? Vote for Democrats.
Yeah, because they hate their job. That's why they always leave before they become senile.
Dave, this is an ahistorical take on our political reality. Corporate elites have no significant challenge to their power under Democratic leadership. How can you spin this with a straight face? Also, because he's a dishonest motherfucker. He does great investigative work, and then when he has to opine on who you should vote for, he's a disingenuous, lying motherfucker. That's why, which is why he has me blocked on Twitter, because I pointed that out too many times, and he doesn't like being humiliated.
I think you can only do good work if you are disingenuous.
I like how he says, also, who do you think you're appealing to? Who the fuck do you think this appeals to? I'll tell you who this appeals
Mr.
to.
Sirota, his wife?
Mr. Sirota and his wife, and all his shitlib friends in Hollywood who need to hear vote Biden, no matter how you get there. No matter how, yes.
This is just solely for Adam
This is
McKay.
solely for Adam McKay and Judd Apatow. And Judd Apatow.
And Judd.
This is solely so he can still hang out with those guys and they'll help him, let him write on their next movie. That's what this is. This might be the most insane thing I've ever heard from him.
This is sub-breaking points.
This was crazier than what I just showed you he did when he said, you think it would be better to have McCarthy as speaker? And I'm like, what the fuck? That's not the question. Are you willing to risk Nancy Pelosi? Oh, yeah, I'm willing to risk it. What the
Well, good strategy, Jimmy, is not trying to get to the thing you want. It's thinking about the power elite, who's in position of what. That's where all the magic happens, Jimmy. Not in the making a beeline for the thing you're supposed to get for everybody.
Yes.
It's in playing the game of rich people chess.
Well, what you said was, wait, so Democrat leadership won't be hauled off to brutal prison camps along with Rachel Maddow, Joy Behar, De Niro, and Chrissy Teigen? They're going to be super relieved to hear that, I bet. Yeah. Well, what will happen is it'll strengthen the Democratic Party.
Yeah, so don't vote
If
Biden.
you vote
They're going to go to concentration camp.
Yeah. Imagine twisting yourself in this much of a knot in order to sheepdog leftists into voting for genocide Joe Biden, because that's what he's doing. So let me get this straight. Electing Democrats will make Democrats less powerful.
Oh,
Got it.
we should have animation of Obi-Wan explaining I'll become more powerful if you strike me.
Yes.
But with Biden.
I'm going to play this for you one more time just so you can hear how fucking crazy this is. This is a guy who doesn't have any integrity, who's a gaslighter and will bullshit you so he can keep his place in shit lib society.
With those
That's
posters.
what this
See
is.
them movie posters?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's where.
Watch this.
First and foremost thought on Donald Trump. If he becomes president, it's not only bad for stuff like climate policy.
Good.
It's not only bad for stuff like corporate regulation, the economy, et cetera, et cetera. Donald Trump winning, in my view, would significantly strengthen the corporate-aligned politicians, media outlets, and consultants that currently control the Democratic Party. The same class of people who obstruct progress on everything. It would so significantly strengthen the Democratic Party leadership, Donald Trump winning, that it's not actually insane to believe that that Democratic Party leadership in some ways wants Donald Trump to win.
No, the way you hurt the Democratic Party is making them lose and then stop donating to them and stop making them a viable party. The way you keep corporations donating to the Democratic Party and owning our politicians in the Democratic Party is by letting people know you're willing to keep voting for them. That's the only thing that keeps their power going, is that they know people will keep voting for them. If the corporations thought Democrats would never get elected again, they would also stop donating to them and they would move on to who they thought would be getting elected. So this is, his prescription is completely batshit, upside down, backwards. It's not supposed to make sense. It doesn't make sense because he's bullshitting you so he can keep his patina of I'm a rebel fighting the Democrats at the same time he tells you to vote for the Democrats. This is, I got to tell you, this is mindfuckery on such another level. I almost have to tip my hat. As he's telling you that I want you to fight the Democratic Party, well, vote for them. It is like if you ever saw that movie Tin Men, this house is free. The house is free. It's like that.
Yeah,
That's what this is. I'm a genius. I know. I'll tell people we're fighting the Democrats by voting for the Democrats. I'm a fucking genius. How did I not think of this before? You know that's so. This is 100% bullshit, lies, gaslighting, disingenuous shit. Because David Sirota is just as integrity challenged as the politicians he covers.
Do you think?
Because he's not telling you the truth. He didn't tell you the truth during Forced to Vote. He's not telling you the truth now. He's fucking lying to you. But it's a scam. It's a talk about a grift. Holy fuck. David, stick to doing FOIA requests and doing investigative journalism, because when you do this, your lying, bullshitting character that you are, it is exposed. You're a liar and a bullshitter. You don't have fucking integrity. You have less integrity than a stupid jagoff pothead comedian. And everybody sees it. Go underneath that post. Find one fucking post that agrees with you on your own fucking thread.
Do you think it's because my Hollywood friends are not going to shut up about Trump if he gets elected, and I want to hang out with them and not talk about Trump all the time? I just want to make more bullshit about climate change, asteroid allegories.
Anyway, so
by the way, fuck you, climate change.
So I've already spent too much time on
suck a dick with that.
He's really not that important, but he rubbed me the wrong way when he came on and lied to me and lied to my audience and then tried to pretend he didn't lie.
It's very impassioned, the lying.
Yeah, the lying's very good at the lying.
What if the Kevin McCarthy thing is more hilarious now after all that?
After all of this.
After all, because I remember when Kevin McCarthy was the speaker, and then we're like, hey, this doesn't look good for Republicans. They're kicking out Kevin. I'm like, are you shitting me?
Okay, over to Steph.
Okay, I'm talking to my dog. Camera 4 beside me, pretty please. All right, there we go.
Fun. All right.
That was great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. I enjoyed it. Here we go. This is continuing with Marianne Williamson by Cornpop. Okay, so Marianne Williamson became the spiritual leader for the Church of Today, a Unity Church in Warren, Michigan, where she had led 2,300 congregants and 50,000 television viewers. Her position also included administrative leadership. Her actions as leader included booking Aerosmith's Steven Tyler, expanding the bookstore, and increasing the congregation's racial and sexual orientation diversity. As a result, the church grew rapidly. Oprah Winfrey said, ooh, there's a name, right?
Oh, my God.
Oprah
So you're saying
Winfrey
she's a human trafficker?
Williams' book. I have never been more moved by a book than I am by this one. Winfrey bought 1,000 copies and encouraged her audience to purchase.
So she's not. This is all more and more CIA bullshit.
Cornpop, you're really... Cornpop, does this take a twist at the end when you get to it? Okay, JMC Video. A remix song of Jimmy and Kurt making fun of Biden bumbling scat talk can be heard on No Agenda Show 1669 at 3 minutes and 23 seconds ITM. All right, I'm going to check that one out. Cornpop, you're back. It telling them that after reading it, she experienced 157 miracles. Williamson supports the distribution of 200 to 500 billion in reparations.
Oh, that creepy book she wrote.
Yes.
That's part of some bad shit, that book.
Slavery spread across 20 years for economic and education projects to be dispersed based on the recommendations of a selected group of black leaders. P.S. Marianne, Cornpop is a bad dude and has the best dope in town. Okay, that was from Cornpop. SS, I think collective unconscious is the same thing as morphic field scientist Rupert Sheldrake has good YouTube video on morphic fields and family constellations. SS, thank you for that. Are you ready, Jim?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a CIA
All right,
thing,
back
that
to
book.
Jimmy.
These are placed inside the jar, and the lid is then sealed. They are left undisturbed for 3 days. Then, when the jar is opened, the fleas will not jump out. In fact, the fleas will never jump higher than the level set by the lid. Their behaviour is now set for the rest of their lives. And, when these fleas reproduce, their offspring will automatically follow their example.
Hey, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there for more AM Joy and the rest of MSNBC. And click on any of the videos right here to watch the latest interviews and highlights. And you can get more videos from MSNBC for free every day with our newsletters. Just visit
Isn't it swell? The memes make themselves. They found a rabbi hole, tunnels and all. There's Jews in the walls. Isn't it bliss? The rabbinical grace soiling the mattresses. Well, let me tell you. If I were Rabbi Shmuley and diddle 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 digga digga diddle diddle dum, all day long I'd diddle little bums. If I were a Shmuley man, I'd peddle all my dildos, dreidel dildos, selling dildos with my daughter and her mum. If I were a Jewish Shmuley man, I'd be digging with a dildo in my bum. I'd wear a grotesque nose and go grab some goyim right on the nipple with a pinch. A Shabbos lap dance brace for the youngest mensch.
At this time, more than any other time, you know, revolution is necessary. It is necessary. Not only based on what has happened with the MOVE organization, you know, the babies that have been murdered, you know, MOVE adults that have been murdered, bombs being dropped on us, but past that to what is happening with all black people, so-called minority people, you know, money poor people. You know, this government, as has been said earlier, has waged war on us. But you know, something about us, particularly here in America, we don't really understand that. You know, we don't really know what war is. You know, for black people, for poor people, that people see as good, that they wasn't forced to do, that they didn't do to try to keep black people appeased, you know, and calm down so that black people wouldn't riot. A prison situation is a crystallized example of that. You can make phone calls in prison. They have movies in prison, but they don't have those things because they just want to be nice to prisoners. They have those things because they know damn well if they don't have, you know, people being able to contact their family, if they don't have, you know, facilities for people to sit there and watch movies, people are going to be frustrated, upset, and they're going to direct that frustration at them prison administrators, and they're going to have riots on their hands. You know, they're going to have people in them prisons turning them prisons out. That's why they have movies. That's why they have access to phones the way they do. And a stop to it when we don't like it, or encouraging it when it's something that's in our interest. You know, we have to call the shots. The people have to take the reins of this system and start dictating, you know, what we need, what needs to be done. And, you know, taking the initiative to do it ourselves. We can't rely on this system. I mean, you know, don't people see what's happening? Every single confrontation that MOVE people have been involved in, every single issue, you know, oppression, economic issues, every single issue facing our people, you know, is something that can be dealt with very, very simply. All people got to do is make their wishes known. All people have to do is stand up and say, listen, we're not accepting that. Unity is the key. Unity is the key to revolution. Revolution ain't nothing to be afraid of. It ain't nothing to shy away from. Revolution, contrary to what officials, you know, this system and those backing the officials running this system, you know, want people to believe that revolution means violence, you know, means blood in the street. I'm saying it can get to that point, but it don't have to be violent. You know, when people come together and take a strong stand on an issue, this government don't have no choice but to listen. Where you think they get their authority from? They don't have no power, but they do have authority to do certain things. Where you think they get it from? They get it from us, from the people. You know, they get it from us accepting the things that they do to be done to stop it. Then you have some people who want to then turn around and say, yeah, well, you know, it's the best we have, and want to make excuses. The time for excuses is over. It's over. You know, every man, woman, and child has to be involved in this revolution. Not only has to be, but is, whether you want to be or not. I mean, our babies gave their lives for this revolution on May 13th. You know, men, women, and children were murdered. And not just move babies, you know. What about all of the young men, women, you know, children 8, 9 years old shot down on the street by cops, you know, by drug pushers? I mean, you know, where do you think that mentality comes from? It comes from this system, from the mentality of this system of getting over, you know, making a quick buck, you know. I'm saying that's where that needs to be done to stop it. Then, you know, what I want people to really, really understand is that it's past time. It is past time for poor people, black people, you know, to realize that this system has failed you. It has failed you. You can't get nothing from it. And what people got to do is withdraw our support from it and start doing for ourselves. That's what we got to do. You know, how long are people going to sit back and beg, you know, this government to do what's right when for hundreds of years all you've gotten is a slap in the face? All you've gotten is this government kicking your ass. That's all. That's all black people have ever gotten from this government.